Hello and welcome to episode number 3 of Trainz New Era NQ Sugar, and we are here today building in Eagle Junction. That is the name of the town. I think maybe doing some work up the mill, which I have named Lysandra thanks to a random name generator. So Eagle Junction was originally meant to be just a small, tiny little town and a couple of houses. I couldn't really get that look, so I made it into a bigger town, accidentally. Um, so yeah, it does, it isn't what it was meant to be, but it is a pretty good town, and I'm quite happy with it. It's ends up with a track down the middle with QR and everything, so I'm very happy with how it turned out. There was also a few scenes up the road a bit more towards Lysandra, which I really thought were quite good, and I really did enjoy doing. Now, just quick thing I'm gonna say here. This is my second attempt at recording this video. I recorded like 20 something minutes, and then I stopped, and I was gonna come back to it next day. I didn't get time to, and that's why this video is coming out. It's been a bit of a video drought because there's just been stuff going on. But anyway, getting into this video. So for most of this, I'm probably just gonna have music going over it because I don't know if I can talk for 37 minutes again. But I'll try to narrate what's going on screen as much as I can. So what I'm doing now is I'm just placing down the houses. I'm using all the Australian assets, which I'm pretty sure are built in, or I downloaded when I got when I've got some of my Australian roots, so I've used those. What I was doing there was putting in the little station, which I quite like, and it's sort of, you know, an old branch line station that never got upgraded because there was never really a need to. That maybe sees one passenger train a week or one passenger train a day. And also it has the options. I'll probably expand this so you won't be any shunting, but you'll have the ability to run QR freight trains. So you can run them. I'm also thinking about expanding out so it shows the town of Lysandra as well, so that this branch line can meet up with the sugar line, the line that goes to the mill. My original plan for this route, and we're getting into undone territory, which I haven't done anything with yet, but that does get done in this video. So it was originally meant to end there, but there was no turnaround point, and I decided it would be cooler if the line kept on going. So here we see putting in the freight shed, which is abandoned. I don't think it was going to be abandoned there. I found this cool asset for a wagon, I think it's QLX wagon, that I really liked, and so I put that in and grazied it all up. So that's I'm trying to avoid jointed rail assets, not because they aren't good, because they are very good quality, but because you have to go to a website and download them. I'm not using any payware assets, which is great. But the one asset I think the only asset I am using is Grazi. And so yeah, I'm just trying to limit the amount of assets I'm using from there to make it more more accessible to everyone, so it's not as much of a pain to download or whatever, really. So what we're doing here is just picking out a crossing for me to put down, and I'm having some crossing issues, which in the next video, not of this series, but I'm going to be doing a voiceover for it right after this, I believe. I'll go over that. I feel like I need to write that down in my book somewhere, but I don't have it. So now we're just getting back into doing the houses. I've seen towns done and they've just had houses and roads and some buildings and nothing else, which have been pretty good. I thought that because this is so close to the track and there isn't really much to, like, there isn't a river or a road or anything to sort of separate them, it's pretty much right next to the yard, to Eagleville. Not Eagleville, that was Eagle Junction Yard. And the main line that continues right along, and also that QR line, it cuts straight through the middle of the town. I thought it'd be a better idea to do it with fences, and I don't know if I did it on camera. I did quite a lot of work for this off camera, because otherwise it would be an hour-long video. But putting down hills hoists in the backyard of every house, and I've just put some gum trees and eucalyptus trees down in backyards as well, which I thought were pretty nice detail. And another issue I had with the roads was them not being straight, and so that was a pain bum. That wasn't as hard to fix as I thought, because I thought, oh no, if I do this, it's going to take forever, it's going to be a pain in the butt. And think about this, this was 5 hours of work went into, would have been about 5 hours it was to make all this, so quite a bit of work. I thought it would have taken extra too long, but it did not, which was good, and I feel like I'm sort of going off track. I've got, so those little shops, they have, you can write in the names, so if there are suggestions for names, good shop name or something, make a suggestion. I'll probably just have Gary's Hardware and Pete's Produce and Steve's Sport, something like that. Burry's Butcher. Suppose every town needs a butcher. So I'll make that up. Also decided to chuck in a BP, because every town needs petrol. It's just sort of the first sort of signs of modernization in the town. And I'll probably chuck in some other things. So you're not going to see me doing the best of the BP apparently, because that's when I stopped recording. So we go ahead to the cricket pitch, and that little pause there was me looking up to cricket field. So I was just looking up the proper dimensions. So this field does have proper dimensions. It's just a little bit bigger than North Sydney Oval, I think. It's just notorious for being very small. This is when I was actually really happy, because with the splines curving, that worked out really well, and yeah, so that was good. What I'm really happy with is, I don't know if these are built in or I saw them on some map. I can't remember which route I saw them on. But they were, I've got cricketers, and they aren't really the best looking, but you're gonna be, if you're looking from a train or whatever, it only really doesn't look too good when you're up close and you get the general sort of idea. And of course I put all the fielders in proper positions. It's a club game, so you got a couple of slips in there, and mostly, close. Umpire out at square leg. Didn't put anyone at silly point. Yeah, I want to do that properly. And don't know what's going on there. And I also decided to put in some AFL posts because I thought, you know, it's Australia. We play AFL and cricket, so often on the same field. Example, MCG, SCG, Harrop Park down in Mackay. And I also decided, you know, let's put down a special texture, which worked out really well. I think it worked out well with the radius size perfectly fitting it. And now we are moving on. I was just creating some pick lists to make life a bit easier. I'm just trying to figure out where I am because I think it jumped ahead again. And I'm using, oh, this is another thing, the jointed rail ballast. I like it. I think it's pretty good ballast, so I'm gonna start using it a bit more to ballast it up, ballast up the tracks. And I was also just using this standard built-in cane field thing, which I'm pretty happy with. I also decided to extend, well, not really, sort of extend the line out a bit from the yard, make it sort of look like it was a siding at one time, and now it's been as part of another line. Now the line got cut, so they just made it into a yard, which I thought was pretty good look. I'll probably put some more details down on it later. Then put down these trees, but they're in groups and I didn't like that, and it was just as easy to put down these individual trees, which I think are speed trees. Some of them are speed trees, so if you're against speed trees, sorry. But I really prefer the look that those trees gave over the groups. And I really did like the idea of putting them all down in the backyards, which I thought looked pretty cool. And sort of got a glimpse down there, Main Street, which is the I was taking screenshots then, I think, and you sort of saw the BP. I won't be doing a live outro thingy because of the amount of time. However, after I've done this in my other video, I'll do a quick little route tour of what there is so far and all the sightings names once I name them. So now we moved on to the other side of the tracks, which is sort of a legit thing, at least where I am. We've got the town, which I'm actually, that's the next video. Next route that you'll see will be the stretch of track that I'm talking about, and that train station you have, and the town. You've got, you know, the main side of the tracks that's where the post office, the hospital, the schools, everything are on that side, and then you've got the other side of the tracks, and that's just sort of, I don't know. Apologies to anyone who may live on the other side of the tracks. I just sort of, so it's not really a dig at them. It's just not as much there. There aren't as many shops. They did have a couple of nice shops. Unfortunately, one of them's gone. They do have the swimming pool and the showground, so it's not all bad. But yeah, that's just a thing. Yeah, having the town split into by the train tracks is definitely a thing. There's two ways across it, so it's especially nasty when there's a storm and the gates come down, which I think happened a couple of years ago. And I'm going off track again, but yeah. So I liked the idea of having the town split into by the track and having it sort of cutting right through the middle of town, and this being a more, I suppose, more residential here, maybe getting a bit more industrial as well. Got the freight yard there. I think I'm probably want to do a bit more with that as well. I'm just checking the the timeline to see when we're moving on to the next build. So I think, you know, I've put some. I don't know if I've put screenshots of this up on the forums. I'll actually put up a screenshot I took up. You should see now of the QR train cutting through the town, which I think looks pretty cool. It really got the effect I wanted. I'm very, very happy with how this town turned out, and I thought, you know, making a town was going to be pretty hard. But really, all you need to do to make a pretty good looking town: houses, fences, trees. You can go into crazy amounts of detail, which I know there are people who do. And nothing against. I've got nothing against them. They can do what they like. It looks amazing, but I personally prefer to be working. I like those little details of making a model railroad. If I'm doing something big like this, I prefer to focus on the track and trying to get that right, and then maybe go back and in the big areas make the little details, like in the mill, and maybe closer to the tracks, and just trying to. But out in the middle of nowhere, I don't really need that much detail, to be honest. Right, and here we are making a siding, and so this is, I think I just rocked the computer desk. So this is one type of siding that we have. There's 3 types, currently 3 types. There'll be 4 types of siding on this route eventually. So this one, the bins get shoved in onto the higher track, and they roll down onto the truck. And then they roll off a truck onto the lower track once they are full and get collected. So I tried doing this first few times, and I tried. Oh, get my hand away from the mic. I was just sorry about that. But yeah, I tried doing it with the 10 grid a couple of times, and I think that's why I started doing it with the 10 grid. But switching down to the 5-meter grid is a lifesaver. It is so much better than using. I don't even know why you'd want to use a 10-meter grid. I think they're talking about the new trains that's coming out. They have a different method which won't use grids and be hopefully a bit more flexible. If that does happen, I will probably get it. Port the route, move the route across onto that, and build it, and sort of try to make it better. Hopefully, however, it doesn't break the route. That's one thing I'm worried about, and hopefully we don't get broken routes. They're also thinking, so now, you know, this is Trainz' new era. Wouldn't it be part of the new era thing to do a different thing apart from grids? But maybe, I think they're working on completely new engine for this, so it's, you know, I suppose it's okay. Probably ran out of time, and you know, the grid is just a minor annoyance. The game as a whole is excellent, and I love it. It's awesome. So much better than Trainz. Not Train Simulator. Any of the Dovetail games stuff. So much better. Train Sim World looks alright, but I don't know. To be honest, I don't. And I made a big post about the benefits of how this is better than Train Simulator, and I really was just thinking I want to show some screenshots of a route I've been playing, but I think I'll have to get permission. I'll get permission from the person who created the route, and then might make a video of it. But it's essentially Sydney Central. You know, I can drive my favorite. I can ride. I can sit in my favorite train, in my favorite seat, ride on my favorite railway, going to my favorite station, sort of. And my top favorite being Woy Woy in Gosford, but it's not in the central, so I can only go to central, which is one of my favourites, obviously. I had a point I was going to make. But yes, I'm really not focused today. So the point was that I was making, and I remember it now, is that Trainz, I can relive the stuff that I've done. I can drive on the, I'm going to be able to, I can stand where I remember standing in 2010, watching, looking at what I saw and what I actually was there looking at, which sort of doesn't make sense. I phrased that really, really badly. I can see what I saw in a game, and I can relive those experiences. Oh, I think I got the hiccups or something. And so part of that reliving experiences thing is this route as well, which I really do like. Now quickly do a quickly talk about this siding here. So this is another type of siding where they get pushed up onto the middle track, roll back down, then drop back onto the other track. I think I saw one like this when I was going to Mackay earlier in the week, because the Mackay system uses this. And then here is these sidings are the other type of sidings that we've currently got, where you just put them on the stretch of side track, and the haul outs will just come and dump into the bins. And now, since I am running out of stuff to talk about for the moment, I'll just turn up the music, and wait until there's something good to talk about. And here we go. I've already thought of something. So this area here is the longest stretch of track so far where there are no sidings. And what I'm sort of trying to do here is there's a bit of a mountain. I'm trying to get sort of a mountain, and this loop of track goes around this mountainy area, and this is just a bit raised, and it sort of slowly sloping up. And towards the east, more inland, we'll probably, because we've got the great dividing range, so I'll probably start sloping up a bit more towards there. I just want to, so it's not completely flat, because that's really boring, and just add a bit of variety in the height and the gradient of the track, just to make it a bit more interesting. Because really it will be very, 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 very boring to just drive on flat track for 20 kilometers or something. I think at least. And it'll add a bit of, interest, because you can only really do that siding from one direction. How is that going to affect your train? How are you going to have to change? Are you going to have to only limit certain engines can do that? Or have certain, restrictions on how many bins you can pull up there. And now we're moving on to a little scene that I really like, and that is a house in the middle of the cane fields, really. So this is sort of modelled off what I've seen. A house, couple of sheds, big open area, chuck down a couple of tractors, fenced it all in, hills hoist, of course. And I thought it was, sort of the house that I'd like to live in, right next to the cane tracks. You can just sort of imagine a young kid. He hears the squealing of the wheels as they come past, because, God, they are loud. You can hear them halfway across town when they come in from the south, and this is in my town, coming in from the south, and they just come around the corner and they're squealing in these massive trains. And they're so loud you can hear them all the way across town. I can just sort of imagine this kid coming out and watching the train come past. And now I'm just putting a bit of interesting in the fields as well, so that it's not empty fields. So I got a tractor doing work, and some irrigators, some rusty ones, and I was going to use this irrigation pipe, but I really didn't like it, so I'll probably might find some new pipes and to see what I can do. I'd also like to do something a bit more interesting with this than this dirt, maybe, because put another texture over it, or do something to spice it up a bit, because I think it's really just a bit boring at the moment, isn't it? I'm probably also thinking of putting down a little person in the background, just watching trains. So a little boy watching trains go by, which is definitely something that I would have liked. And here's another thing I added in, which I haven't really seen much in many routes, to be honest, is, at least many routes I've got, I'm sure there's plenty of routes that have, it's power lines. I haven't seen that many. Probably just not getting the right routes. But I thought it would be cool to put these power lines down, and it actually does, it makes for some really cool screenshots and just adds to the scene a lot. And as you'll see, putting in about, no, you missed it. Okay, so I put down massive pylon power lines, and that was a whole bit that I didn't record there. That was building a cattle farm, which from I'll chuck a screenshot up of the view from it now. So just showing the sort of the view that you'd get from down there. It sort of reminds me of where I've done cattle work, and it's up on the hill and you're looking down towards the QR main line, and it's really cool. I just like that, and it sort of gives me the same sort of feeling. I built, and I've got cattle yards which I built. Not the best looking, but they are functional. Each yard is sort of functional. And there you go. So that would be the screenshot I just showed you. So it's sort of got the you come in. The cow come in, sit there, go along, bit from bulls, something come out, go in and load up. I haven't got like a race to do any injections or stuff, but I couldn't find one, so I'm just going to assume that that's off somewhere else and that this is just purely for loading and unloading. And I also added, I was going to plant that field with cane, but I decided against it because it would get in the way of the view, which I didn't want. So we're just doing the long, painful planting of the cane, which wasn't as long as painful as I thought it was. But I had music going. It's pretty good. So I think that's the thing. Building, if you're doing detailed builds, or if you're doing any builds, really just put music on, listen to music, and it makes it much less boring. I mean, it makes it way more interesting when you forget to mute the audio when you go and do voiceover, and so you've got weird South African techno bands playing at 5 times speed, which while you're trying to record a video, which you're not really the best at anyway, in all honesty, really makes things interesting. So yeah, if you're recording a video, make sure you mute it, please. It's a pain. And I had a book. I had a notebook and I was going to write down notes. But I haven't got notes. So that's what I'm definitely going to start remembering to do, is to write notes. However, the end of the holidays is coming up, and we're going into the big year 12 final year. So time may be restricted. So when I get videos out, if I get videos out, it's all a bit hit and miss. Right, so this is actually attempt number 5 at trying to record this ending, because I just want to add in, there is a live thing, I cover everything I wanted to cover in the ending, so there's not really much to talk about. What there is, though, is what's coming up. So I want to do a route tour proper, because I give a sort of brief tour in this. I want to do a proper tour in operations at the same time. So that's going to be coming up, and if anyone who's like good at modeling stuff could make a sugarcane harvester and haul out stuff, if they could do that, because I don't have the time, that'd be great. I would appreciate that, but I don't feel like you have to, because I'm pretty satisfied with how it's all going to turn out anyway, and maybe that's a thing I could definitely look into. That's all I've got for the time lapse, and I will see you in a sec. Okay, so welcome to the game. For some reason the sound... Oh, I turned the sound off. I turned the sound off, that's why the sound doesn't work. The game's not broken, I'm broken. So, I feel like the time lapse was a bit jumpy. So I'm a bit tired today, so is that. Just quick teaser. With Sunday Mainline, that's a video that's a series that's coming up. Now the scale of that is probably going to change from what it originally was going to be, but it's still going to be a pretty impressive build, I think. So we'll go into NQ Sugar. Just wait for the game to load. Okay, and we are here in the game. So here at Lysandra Mill. What's changed here since the last time? I don't know if this was in the video, but I've begun to add a substation and this sign. So we'll scoot back down, because I don't think I've actually shown the whole line. So this is the first siding here. So it's the Sandra siding. It's turn off down the loop. This is Ericsson siding. Come down here. So this is starting getting to the last video. So this is the farm. And we'll come back to there in a tick. And so I was doing some screenshots and stuff, so that's why this train is here. So this is Eagleville, Eagle Junction, not Eagleville. I was going. So this is Eagle Junction. So as you can see, got a bit of a main street going on here. Some houses, police station, church. This here is the school. Just by the way, that's the school. And as you can see, I've still got to do some movement of stuff. This is another road I added that heads off towards Lysandra. And so this is this back area on the other side of the tracks. The station and the, I'll probably do some more texturing here. Station and the abandoned thing. Here's a 2100 class loco. And so this is basically the town. I'll probably expand off there a bit more. And of course the cricket game. Got some slips in. Point. Mid wicket. I think those are the right positions. I definitely know slips. I'm pretty sure that's point, that's mid wicket, I think. Haven't played enough. So more farms, lovely farms. I'm quite happy with how that turned out. And as you can see, if you just come down here and go Alt Y, get a lovely little view. How cool is that? And this is sort of the thing I wanted, and that I think I was aiming for. I decided to build this because I spent a lot of time looking for a route, and then there wasn't one, so I thought, bugger it, I'm going to build one myself. So these are the yards. These are the cattle. This is the cattle area. Little sort of creek here, ending there. Doing some mustering, obviously. And obviously, if you don't know, got the yards. Not the best, but the fences aren't really the best tools. Come in, wait here, go here. Put the bulls here. If you don't want to sell the bulls, put the bulls here, and then go along here and get loaded up onto the truck. Which I thought that was pretty good. So for this map, looking at my current progress, it could be, I've said on the forums, it could be out by, it should be out by June, July. I'm currently looking at being around April-ish, if I keep on working on it at this current pace. So QR crosses over again. So yeah, it could be even before then at the current pace that this is going and expanding at. So that would be quite cool. But I've also got my CSX map, my Whitsunday downtown, and then I've sort of felt, not Whitsunday downtown, Whitsunday mainline, and then I felt like building an oil refinery. So that's quite a big one as well. But that sort of, so I just sort of gave you an accidental tour of the route. I'll probably do a proper tour and sort of what everything is, how everything sort of works, at a later time, and also on the operations here. Trainz and how they are meant to run. Now that's all I've got for this video. So until next time, happy gaming.